by Green. Throws it back up top. James puts up the three. Oh, it's good! LeBron James from downtown.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of Three Guys with Mike. I'm Williams with my co-host,
Middleman.
And the Los Angeles Rams are Super Bowl champions. It's the second Super Bowl in their franchise history. And we called it, right? Did me and you not call it? There was another guy who's here, very loud, takes up a lot of time on our videos.
I will say this.
Rambles on a lot. Pick the other team, the losing team.
I will say this.
Yeah.
It feels good to be right.
It does feel good to be right. I started that. I'm
finishing, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying, it feels good to be right. Pick the Super Bowl correctly, finally, after last year when I was a lone wolf and I picked the Chiefs. But looking at this game, one of the better Super Bowls I can remember. It wasn't the highest scoring, but it was a crazy action-packed Super Bowl. A lot of things happening. We're going to get into it. Before we dive into this game, just make sure you guys like, subscribe, share our videos. Any feedback, we'd appreciate it greatly.
Please.
Anything you guys have to say, we love interacting with you guys. And just thank you for watching us throughout this entire NFL season. But get on to it. One thing I actually want to add in is our last game. This was our last game with Chris Collinsworth and now Michael's announcing.
And Michelle Tafoya.
She's leaving?
Yeah, she's gone too.
We don't really care about her, but Al Michael is an iconic voice in all the sports. It's ever since, I really don't know how long, since the 80s, right? 70s?
Something like that.
But it's been a while. And he's just a memorable voice in my childhood and in a bunch of games that I watch and remember.
Yes.
He's going to be a voice. He announced the Eagles Super Bowl, near and dear to my heart. So just a lot of things that I'm going to associate with him and his voice. Chris Collinsworth, I believe, is here until 2025, but Al Michael's last game went out with a thrilling, game to call. But let's get into this.
Back-to-back years, we lose two great, amazing announcers that we grew up watching. Marv Albert first.
Yeah, Marv Albert. I forgot about that. Yeah, it really does suck. But go ahead and get into this game. What does it really mean for a lot of these players' legacies?
Yeah, a lot of these legacies. I mean, I guess you could say that we're on the line. Legacies are on the line here. Aaron Donald, OBJ, Matthew Stafford, etc. Cooper Kupp, I wouldn't say Von Miller because he already has his ring.
But he added to
Super Bowl MVP. He did add to it. This meant a lot to a lot of them,
Eric Weddle, Andrew Whitworth.
Eric Weddle, Whitworth too, yes. It meant to a lot of these players, especially to me. To me, I think it meant more to Whitworth and Aaron Donald. Yeah. Two guys who have been gritty guys, barely miss any games, no matter how injured they were. Mm-hmm. Right? They always found a way to get on the field, no matter how much they were hurting inside. They always gave it their all, no matter what they were going through in their life, or no matter his injuries, any mental problems. They were always on the field. You can always count on them to be there for meetings, anything like that. I think our co-host Jeremiah likes to call them lunch pail guys. I want to say,
yeah, dudes
who are just locked in. And when you have those two guys on one team together with all these other vets trying to get their first ring, it works out perfectly. And Matt Stafford, certified Hall of Famer.
I agree with you.
I'm going to go ahead and say he's a certified Hall of Famer. He's top 15 in every category. And I think he's fourth in, I forgot what it was. I think it was like QBR or something like that. Or completions percentage.
He's also up there in game-winning drives.
In game-winning drives, yes. Great all-around quarterback. For sure cemented his spot in the Hall of Fame. And I think this isn't the last of this team that we see. I don't know if anybody's going to retire. The only person I can say for sure I think is leaving, there's two people, is Eric Weddle and Andrew Whitworth. Because I think they've done their due diligence in this league for this team, finally getting them their ring. But I don't know if I could see Aaron Donald retiring.
I can't either. Yeah.
But if he does, if he wants to part ways with the game he loves so much, take care of his kids, his new fiance, we understand perfectly. Yeah. But in my opinion, these legacies, I don't think it's over. It didn't stop here with Matt Stafford, Kupp, OBJ. OBJ did say he'd take a discount to return to this team. And with the way things are shaking up in the NFC, you never know. These guys could be back at it again next year.
Yeah, starting off the legacies, I think a huge one that just shut off the head is Aaron Donald, right?
Yeah.
And looking at Aaron Donald, Hall of Fame career before this ring, but I think with this ring and this performance late in the game, and actually in the past two games, even to send him to the Super Bowl, him stepping up, making the big plays in this game, making a key stop on 3rd and 1, and then making the big play on Joe Burrow, forcing the incompletion on 4th and 1 to win the Super Bowl. I think this solidifies him not only as one of the best players at his position, one of the best players on defense, but one of the best players in the history of the NFL. I think with this playoff run, with his entire career, it has been short and consistent, and it has been great all throughout. And I think with that, I think you can say he's one of the best players in the NFL. I think he's gonna go down, and you never know.
To me, I think honestly, this might be pretty bold to a lot of the old heads out there, but I think he's top 10 all time.
In as players.
As players.
That's gonna be hard to get into because so many players, but I do think you can make a strong argument, strong case. But it's just gonna suck to see him retire if he does. I don't want to get too much into that because we don't know. It's all on him.
I'm gonna say top 10 defensive players for sure.
Top 10 defensive players, yeah, that's fine. And just he's right in his prime, 30 years old, doing what he does, and I still think that there's a lot left in the tank for him.
Especially for being a nose tackle, they can go forever.
Yeah,
they're like offensive linemen.
That's true. And Matthew Stafford finally getting his ring. I agree with Aaron. Hall of Fame career now solidified. And I'm just glad that he's getting his roses, getting the recognition that he deserved so long in Detroit. Cooper Kupp, watching this game, I was skeptical. A lot of debates about if he's even a top 10 receiver in the NFL after having an amazing season, one of the best seasons we've ever seen from a receiver. Yeah. And now I think it's hard for you to even debate if he's not even a top 3 receiver. I think now this game just showed you why he is the best receiver in the NFL. I thought it was Devontae Adams for so long. You can still debate 1 and 2. But I think Cooper Kupp just solidified his spot right there.
I think he's top 5, even when the season was happening. I thought he was.
Yeah, and I think seeing the way that they went to him, no Odell Beckham getting injured in the second quarter, no one else to really go to on offense, and Matthew Stafford trusted in Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp had about 7 touchdowns on the last drive that were called back every single time. They couldn't stop him.
They scored 3 times.
And we're gonna get into the PIs and all that, but there's a reason for that. You can't guard Cooper Kupp in the biggest moment of the game. There's a reason why they were holding you. And I think just looking at that, he was solidifying himself as the best receiver in the NFL. Let's get into the game. What did you see in the first quarter? Were you iffy about any of the play calling or anything like that?
Nah, first quarter, I thought the Rams obviously started off hot.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way that they stuck through with Ernest Jones, a rookie, and Troy Reader. Not a lot of guys with a whole bunch of experience in this league, but the Rams put the trust in them. They knew the system very well. Yeah. I think Ernest Jones even had to stop on the first play on 4th and 1, which is very gutsy on the Bengals' part. And that's how I knew this game was going to come down to the wire. Both teams are gutsy. The Bengals love going for it, no matter what the down and distance is. Mm-hmm. They're like the Chiefs. They don't really care what down and distance. They believe they have the playmakers to do it.
Yeah.
And I think with the Rams, their offense was looking great. I mean, just like any other game, the offense starts off really well. And then the touchdown, the OBJ. Not a lot of people called that. But then again, there was a lot of fans who wanted OBJ to score the first touchdown. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people were skeptical he was even going to play this game because of his wife. As we all know, she was going to go into labor soon. Wishing that labor goes through like perfectly. Yeah. Nothing bad happens. Wishing him the best. Hopefully he recovers from his injury. But with that first quarter, you can just tell it's going to be grit and grind all game.
Yeah.
D-line, O-line. It just all started in the trenches for me. And I thought in the end of the game, that's what panned it out for the Rams to win.
I thought early on, this game was going to get out of hand early. Just looking at how Odell was just controlling that defense, they really didn't have an answer for him in the first half. Mm-hmm. And we all knew eventually that Cooper Kupp was going to get his. I thought it was kind of too slow to start off with him. He wasn't really getting that many plays that were drawn up for him.
Exactly.
And I thought that was a problem. I think they could have built their lead even more. But I think the biggest point in this game was not only the Odell Beckham injury, which we know sucks for him going into free agency. A lot of talks about that, what's going to happen in the future. And I think it really did hurt him. As you saw him crying when they solidified that win, he wanted to be out there. With as long as any other player wants to be out there, but him especially, making all his plays, he knows that he was a deciding factor for that offense. Mm-hmm. But I think the biggest turning point was that missed PAT. I think right there you just felt everything shift. At that point it was 13-3. Then in the matter of minutes, it was 20 to.
Was that in the
it was
first
20 to 13. It was in the second quarter. Yeah, I think it was in the second quarter. Yeah, so the momentum just completely flipped at that play. Yeah. I thought McVay early. I thought he was good that he was kind of building the run game, but I think at times he ran at the wrong times. Later on in the game, running when you were getting momentum with your passing offense, I just thought he was kind of in his own head again. And I was gonna wait, but I think it's a good time to say it. I think that this Rams team, even though they won the Super Bowl, we still haven't seen them shine and like perfectly come together and mold as a team that we thought they were going to be. I still feel like there's a lot left in the tank for them, and I feel like that McVay didn't call the perfect game. I thought Stafford could have played better. I thought that throughout this entire playoffs, throughout this entire year, I feel like this team still has a lot left, and I think that this team could still come together and run the table again. But yeah, early I thought they did a good job. I think with the Bengals, looking at them this game, I expected more from the guy with the cool nickname. I expected more from this cool offense, the guys who dance around, who get a lot of the media attention, right? As I don't know if you were paying attention, but Bleacher Report, ESPN, even the NFL, they were posting the Bengals. They were posting a lot about how Joe Burrow was entering the stadium with his outfit. They were the favorites in this game to me. I thought that the Rams were the better team. But everyone kind of, even before the game on NBC, they were showing that America picked 54% of the Bengals to win this game.
Yeah, I know.
So everyone was rooting for the Bengals in this game.
All these Rams fans are telling me, well, not all these Rams, but like my family, they're all Rams fans. They were telling me like they were scared because a lot of people expect the Rams to win this game. And I said, a lot of these people are going either 50-50 or a lot of them are choosing the Bengals because of the story that's been written throughout the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but looking at the Bengals side, I think that this offense just wasn't themselves. And this is something that I said before the Chiefs game. I thought that this offense didn't score enough touchdowns to be considered a good team, to be considered a great team. I think looking at the first game, only having 2 touchdowns right against the Raiders, then you have 1 against the Tennessee Titans. And then against the Chiefs, they did step it up in the second half. But I think that was an issue that you had to kind of look at. You had to look at your offense and the way that they were performing in big games. And Maya said last week that Joe Burrow was the one who was the driving force of this team, and I agree. But you have to look at it, their defense was the biggest reason why they were in this spot.
Exactly.
And they were the biggest reason why they were in this game. Joe Burrow, again, the stat sheet won't show it, but he wasn't making the plays that we were used to. Jamar Chase, he did make a few plays, but it wasn't all throughout the game. It was in spots.
There were some drop balls too by the receivers.
There were some drop balls, but also Joe Burrow just missed a few throws early on in the game too. And looking at it, I think the biggest play to me that if the Rams would have lost that game, I would have been on that play. Was it T. Higgins, the long ball over Jalen Ramsey. I don't know how the refs missed that call. I don't know how they missed a
first play of the third quarter.
Yeah, first play coming out hot. That's how they start off the half, and then right after that, Matt Stafford throws a pick, which really wasn't his fault.
Now, keep in mind, Odell did get hurt in the second quarter, right? And it was 13-10 going in halftime. And you have a rookie out of Notre Dame, Ben Skowronek, who, don't get me wrong, he had a great college career. I watched him throughout college. He had probably arguably one of the best hands, a big, strong receiver. But it's just when you're put into situations like that, things get a lot.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard on anybody.
Yeah.
You get those nerves going through your body, and I get that he dropped that pass. But then, to me, that's when the game changed. Is the Rams only give up 3 points that drive. All the momentum's going to the Bengals side. Just get a 75-yard touchdown, first play out to halftime, right? Then you get a pick by Chidobe Awuzie, who arguably could have been the Bengals MVP if they won that game.
Yeah.
And then you go and allow 3 points. And I feel like when I was watching the game, I told my friends as Super Bowl, little shindig, right? I said, in the second half of these games, and when the Rams are down, this is when Aaron Donald and Von Miller love to play football.
Yeah. And
throughout that whole third quarter and fourth quarter, after the Bengals got those quick 10 points, nothing after that.
Yeah, from that point on, I believe the Rams had 1 sack that whole game. And after that, they blew the doors open.
They didn't have, like 6 or 5 after that?
They ended up with like 6 or 7 sacks at the end of that game. So, I mean, as we were saying that was the biggest reason why we thought the Rams were going to win this game.
Experience over anything.
Experience, and also just the complete dominance on the defensive line, which we thought they would do. And we thought it was going to be consistently throughout the entire game. But they did it in the biggest moments of the game, which I think was more important than being consistent. Looking at Aaron Donald, man, I even texted the group chat, I don't know if you saw it, but I was like, once the final score by Cooper Kupp happened, I'm like, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, that entire defense had to be in their head.
Exactly.
And just saying, look, this is what we were brought here for. This is why we have this beautiful stadium and everything. And Aaron Donald did the same thing against the 49ers. He was with his team rallying the troops, and he did exactly that. And he was the one to make the play. It was really a fitting ending to maybe this man's career, but it was just fitting how he was the one to make that play. And he was the one. The Bengals had no answer for them at all. Like the first half, you saw it, but once I think what it was, remember that play? Joe Burrow was running out of bounds, and Aaron Donald, he gave him a clean shove, and it kind of turned into like a little scuffle.
Yeah.
I think that's what fired him up. I think that after that, he was completely on.
Oh, exactly.
After that, that was the one thing you don't want to do.
The Rams
had
to make the quickest adjustments I've ever seen. I remember I was telling you this before. They would rush 4, right, and they would give Joey B time to step up. That's how they got the long touchdown. And that's how they got a crucial 3rd and 2. He runs up right up through the middle.
It slides, yeah.
And the moment the Rams started sending 5, that's when all hell broke loose. All these pressures quarterback hits, all the sacks that they
running
were getting.
stunts.
Running stunts with Von Miller cutting it inside. Von Miller, when he cuts inside, and him and Aaron Donald, when they get you with that rip move, it's over. You just call it done deal.
Yeah.
It's either a holding pass, incomplete pass, like a throwaway, or a sack.
Yeah.
Nothing in between. No broken play, touchdown. It's over.
Yeah, especially those two guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think what happened in our video that we recorded last week, it came to life that we did think that the defensive line was going to take over this game. We were saying, or at least I said, that it was going to be even with the skills. I thought the receivers could be matched with the Bengals.
Yeah.
Corners, everything was kind of evenly matched, but the biggest driving force was that defensive line. And going into the Bengals with their future, right? I don't know, man. Like, you heard about Carson Palmer's comments, right? You're
What did you say again? Sorry.
Carson Palmer. All right, look. A lot of people and a lot of Bengals fans were saying that Carson Palmer was hating, and rightfully so. I think he does deserve the right to hate after what happened with him and his time over there in Cincinnati. But he was saying that Joe Burrow, if he was him, he would be looking at the Bengals and looking and wondering if this is his only Super Bowl that he's going to be at. And he's like, if I'm Joe Burrow, I need to think about what this team is going to do to put the pieces in place for a long term. To have my receivers there, the offensive line getting better, to have that defense still intact for the coming years. That's what he was saying, and there's nothing wrong with that. I really don't think there was anything wrong with that, and that's a fair point. That if I'm Joe Burrow, I would have to think, what is this team going to do for me? Because as you know, over there in KC, Mahomes, he has a big $500 million contract, right? And that's the big thing. We're wondering, are the Chiefs going to have enough cap space to have the players around him to get them back to another Super Bowl? So a lot of people were labeling him as a hater. But I think that's a valid point into the future.
I think he just wants to teach Joe Burrow to not make the same mistake he did. I mean, Carson Palmer is just... I can't even describe his playoff performances as a Bengal. I honestly really can't.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. But I'm pretty sure he's just giving Joe Burrow advice to go to the front office, and if you want to do this, if you want to run it back again, you go to the front office, you give them a list of pieces that you need. Make prioritize, you circle it. First of all, O-line.
O-line's the biggest thing, yeah.
And a couple of defensive backs. And I think this team might be set for another run. But no matter who they try to go after, it's just going to be tough because you're in the AFC. All these young quarterbacks hungry for a ring like Lamar, Josh Allen, Herbert. Patrick Mahomes is going to want to solidify himself again as the top guy, which he still is in the AFC. But it's just going to be hard either way. But if you do want to end up running it back and you want to shock the world again, you have to go to the ownership, and tell them the guys you need, the guys you want, and make a change.
And I think they already have that in place. I think, as I've been saying, that defense was a driving force for this playoff run. I think they were the big reason why they were even in this game. If they would have won this game today, I would have thought it was because of that Bengals defense, because of what they were doing. And looking at it, I agree with you. And a lot of people are saying they will be back. But we were saying the same thing about Mahomes. And again, they were back, but did they win that game? No. And it's like, we have to think about it that the window in the NFL is not wide open. Because, dude, it isn't like that for long.
Look at it. Look at the way these games have different outcomes, right? The Rams lose Todd Gurley and Cooper Kupp that year. They went to Super Bowl and lost, right? And Sean McVay had a complete meltdown.
Yeah.
Right? Forgot the game plan. This game's different. You can do that with a guy like Matt Stafford. That's what you trade for guys like this. Because back then it's Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Well, he's only in his third year. He doesn't have the experience.
He has to coach a perfect game, essentially.
Exactly. He has to coach a perfect game, and that's too much pressure when you're going against arguably the greatest coach of all time in Bill Belichick. But the guy with Matthew Stafford and a guy like Cooper Kupp, when they have that connection, which Jared Goff never really found that with a certain someone, it just matches perfectly. I mean, they put in the work, right? They put in all the time and effort to get him the ring that they desperately needed, and look what happens. They just set their mind to it, and they get it right. And I'm pretty sure that's why a lot of Rams fans, and Sean McVay specifically, wanted to get rid of Jared Goff because they didn't think he had that mindset and that leadership to get this team over the hump.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's so hard to just say that the Bengals could just come back. Because there's so many teams, as you were naming, all these other teams in the AFC that could come back and that are still here as we see the Bills, the Chiefs, teams like that. And I think it's just going to be really hard to say that the Bengals will be back for sure this year. But you never know. I mean, we all thought that at the Bills that we're going to be the team to be in this spot this year, to hoist that trophy. But you saw what happened in overtime. So it's like, it's just too hard to tell. But I think that
seconds.
But yeah, I think the Bengals' future is bright. I think it's the brightest out of any team in that AFC. But yeah, I think it's a good thing for the Rams. And another player that I think was the forgotten player this season, and I think he was the biggest factor for why this Rams offense didn't look the way that we thought it would is Robert Woods.
Yeah.
That injury was the biggest thing, especially with Odell going down. If he would have been in that game, he was the guy who was doing all the dirty work for that offense. He was the best. He was the best receiver who could block in the run game.
And
he
remember,
could also.
all four of them would have played because Robert Woods got hurt after
Odell.
No, before. It was after
the same
they
week.
traded for Odell.
It was the same week.
They had found out he had got hurt, I think, after
Yeah.
they had just traded for Odell. So all four of those guys playing, it would have been a wrap. Van Jefferson, Odell, Odelius.
Yeah, so I think there's just too many things to look at in this game and to say exactly what won this a certain team a game and what lost them the game. But I just think it was overall. Your HP on there's going on?
One less NFL alert.
But yeah, I thought it was a really good game. Final thoughts about the Super Bowl, about this NFL season.
About this NFL season. Obviously disappointing for me. But final thoughts, I mean, this is good for the city of LA. Shout out to my family. Shout out to my grandpa specifically, rest in peace.
Yeah, huge Rams fan, huh?
Huge Rams fan. But it's just another year, another disappointment for me, unfortunately. I don't know if you saw my Instagram post, but if you follow me, I posted that picture of
Stephon Diggs.
Where he's watching, and then it's the crowd. It's like the Rams fans, and then there's me.
Yeah.
But someday, hopefully, whenever that will be, even if I do die and they don't get it. Other than that, a good NFL season. Props to the Rams. I mean, look what they did. They went all in.
Mm-hmm.
They gambled. They got what they wanted, a ring. The LA streets are still going crazy right now.
Yeah.
But for the Bengals, pretty soon. I'll say soon. I'll give them a good 5 years, I want to say. Like 2 to 5 years, he'll be back.
My closing thoughts on the season and then on the Super Bowl. I think it was one of the better playoff.
I really enjoyed these playoffs.
Stands. Yeah, like it was. Every single game was action packed. Every single game you really couldn't predict what was gonna happen. For the Rams, it's just a great thing. I still don't feel like this is the final picture for them. I still think that they could get a lot better in the way they play and the way that they're coached. But for the Bengals, I do agree they'll be back. It's gonna be interesting to see our off-season videos on who we think is gonna be kings of the AFC. But yeah, just a great season all around. Goes down in history as the longest season in the NFL with 17 games.
Yeah, it was well worth it.
Yeah, it was a great series. Great season. Congratulations to the Rams, all the Rams fans, and it sucks for the Bengals fans who have been waiting for this opportunity for so long. But
the hell with it. Give me your dark horse matchup for next year, Super Bowl 57.
I'm gonna say dark horse, but what I think.
Honest answer.
Honest, okay. I'll go Bills-Rams.
Bills-Rams.
I think Bills-Rams. I think that's right.
That's
in my
really
head,
good.
I had it when I was watching this game. I had it in my head that I think the Bills could make a strong push, and I think that they could get it done.
Yeah. I'm wrapping my head around all this. And I think, honestly, if he does stay, Jimmy G's gone. You never know. I go Packers-Bills. I see the Bills back there, too. I'm being honest. That team has a lot of money going into the offseason.
Yeah.
And throwing some trades, too. You never know.
I'm kind of completely turned off on picking the Packers for anything after what happened for the past 3 or 4 years.
4 years, they've been disappointed.
But, I mean, so we both have the Bills in here, right?
Both.
Okay, yeah. So, those are early predictions for next year. Hopefully we're right. But
just something about a bad taste in their mouth, after those 13 seconds.
2 years, yeah. 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row, too. To Kansas City.
Third time's a charm. But thank you guys for watching another video. 3 guys with Mike. Any thoughts on the Super Bowl? What you think the Bengals could have done to win this game? What you think that the Rams could have done that would have lost in this game? What do you think about Jalen Ramsey's performance? I know it's a big thing that a lot of people are talking about. I think it wasn't his best performance, but a lot of it wasn't his fault.
And please, in the comment section on this video, and even when we post on Instagram, please add Jeremiah Whitmer.
Add Jeremiah Whitmer.
Tell him his L take.
Yeah, because he went on for about 25 minutes about how
raising his voice in this very room
about how Joe Burrow was the future, how he was the guy to get it done. And we did say Joe Burrow's not playing against Ryan Tannehill. He's not going to get sacked and be able to just
exactly. See, that's what I'm saying.
That's exactly what happened this game.
You're playing Matt Stafford, and you're playing arguably the best defensive line in football.
Yeah, and you're going against the best receiver in football. It's going to be hard to make mistakes like that. But my winner raises his voice. He's wrong again. It's just like how he raised his voice and said the Patriots would be the #1 team.
Another one bites the dust.
Yep. So, congrats, Maya. He did claim that he was the best one on the show and that he was the smartest one. But,
cut off.
The loudest one in the room isn't always the right one. He's not always the smartest one. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. And again, I don't hate Joe Burrow, even though he has a cool nickname. Didn't play that well. Cool nickname again.
Joe
He
Cool?
dresses cool. He has glasses, so that's a big thing. That's a big reason why a lot of people like him. But I'm not hating on him. I just hate Jeremiah. Because Jeremiah, whoever Jeremiah likes, I hate them. So that's how it goes. Right? We don't like the Patriots due to Jeremiah. We don't like Tom Brady due to Jeremiah. I'm sorry not to like Joe Burrow. I don't mind Joe Burrow. But I'm sorry not to like him because of Jeremiah. So a lot of this thing is, driven by him. But thank you guys. NFL is going to be gone for the next 6
now
to
it's
7
time for
months.
NBA season.
Yeah, I know. I know you're looking forward to that. How your Lakers been doing?
Not really.
So
shut up.
So thank you guys. Catch you guys next time.